I don't know what it is with the FOSS space and random projects seeming to not understand trademarks and having big companies sending them emails, but it seems to happen on a relatively frequent basis, and it's happened once again. So, most, if not all, of the Linux phones out there are in the typical smartphone sort of format. This isn't a Linux phone, but you get the gist. Think of things like the Pine phone, for example. But there's no reason why they have to be shaped like a smartphone. There's nothing about that shape that makes a Linux phone actually function. The reason why they're shaped like that is because most people are now used to using a smartphone. So what if instead of a smartphone design, we used a more traditional mobile design? Specifically think of the Nokias from the mid-2000s in that weird transitional period between smartphones not existing and everybody having a smartphone. Some of the phones coming out at that point were really, really cool. And let's not hamper it whatsoever. We're going to have a device that is running full mainline Linux like any of the other Linux phones out there. Personally, even though it's a device that I probably wouldn't use because I do like the smartphone form factor, I think that is really, really cool. And that is exactly what was done. This is a collaborative open source project created by Reimu Moe of Sudomaker, and it's not a custom ROM, it's not even a custom case. What it is a full custom PCB for the 168X line of Nokia phones. Just in case you don't know or don't remember what that phone is, this is the Nokia 1680. I don't believe that I had one of these as a kid, but I think my dad might have. And as I mentioned earlier, even though this isn't a device and a device form factor I want to personally go back to using, I think it is really, really cool that fans of this form factor still do exist. And this project, because it's not creating like a new case or anything like that, it's helping to keep some of these devices out of landfill. Now for today's video, the specs of the device don't really matter that much, and even if they did, I don't really have a good understanding of the competing hardware to say if what they went with is actually a good choice. If that is something you care about though, I'll leave it linked in the description down below. One thing that is really cool though, is on the 1680 model, which does have a camera, this PCB is going to use that camera. Now, what this project looks like from the outside, and I feel like the creator of the project would agree with this as well, is as a really cool and really interesting fan project. The creator of this PCB likes this device form factor and wanted to bring it back to life. And like most of the really cool and really interesting fan projects out there, most of them don't get acknowledged by the creator of the original product. Maybe some of the really cool, hip Silicon Valley companies, they will go and say, hey, look at what this cool person is doing with our really cool product, and then just use it as like a marketing tactic. But Nokia is like a serious suit-wearing business. They're never gonna do that. But Nokia did acknowledge the project, just not the way the maintainer would hope. The way they acknowledged it is with this email. There is a reason why I haven't been saying the project name. So the project was called Nokia. Use of Nokia in relation to phone and related software on this page right here. This email is sent on behalf of the Finnish company Nokia, owner of the well-known Nokia trademark across the world, including inter alia, international registration, Nokia, blah blah blah, legal speak. The use of such a name, Nokia, confusingly similar to Nokia and not authorized by Nokia, therefore constitutes an infringement of Nokia's rights, diluting and undermining use of the Nokia brand and potentially misleading people into thinking the projects are from or somewhat authorized by Nokia. And said use is also a breach of the Hackerday's terms of use. This is the website they're actually hosted on. And Nokia isn't threatening to sue them, at least yet. All they want is Nokia to remove all references to that term from the website and from any other social media under their control, and commit to not use Nokia nor any other similarly confusing Nokia or recalling Nokia in the mind of the public, and more generally, to not undermine Nokia's rights anymore. Now, the name Nokia didn't come directly from the maintainer themselves, it actually came from one of the supporters of the project. As the project was evolving, one of the people said, hey, Nokia seems like a good name, and it sort of just stuck around. But it doesn't really matter how it got the name. What matters is the fact that it has its name. Now, I don't like the way that Trademark works, but what I like isn't necessarily what aligns with reality. As always, not a lawyer. So the Nokia Corporation has a trademark to the name Nokia. They probably also have trademarks to their logos and other things like that, but the most important thing here is the Nokia name. Now, one thing having a trademark lets you do, and you actually have to do to defend your trademark, is if someone is using your trademark or using a form that is very similar to your trademark, you have to go and tell that person to stop doing that or come up with some sort of licensing deal where they are allowed to actually go and do so. But a very important factor is whether your use is potentially misleading and undermining the trademark. So having a trademark generally isn't going to be all-reaching. So let's just say that Nokia has a trademark for the word Nokia in relation to phones, for example, which they probably have among other things. If you were to go and make a pool cleaning company called Nokia, the Nokia pool cleaning company is so different from Nokia the phone company that there wouldn't really be a case there to say that you using the name Nokia is potentially confusing. And there's not a pool cleaning company, but there is an IT company called Nokia, also in Finland. So this has been around for quite a while, and Nokia doesn't have a problem with them. The reason why they don't have a problem with them is because they do something that is different enough from Nokia that the similar sounding name isn't actually an issue. So taking us back to the Nokia phone PCB, arguably right now it's not really a phone because the PCB doesn't have a cell connection on it, but it is intended to fit into the shell of a phone, and not just the shell of any random phone. Specifically, the shell of an old Nokia phone that has a Nokia label on it. Once again, I want to make it very clear that I don't like the fact that Nokia sent this email, but from the perspective of the Nokia legal department, I can understand why they sent it, because it is technically a phone in a Nokia phone shell. It looks like a phone, and under some weird, backwards, confusing logic, there is a chance that maybe one person will see this and then think it's from Nokia. But here's the sad thing about it. It doesn't actually matter. So it doesn't matter whether Nokia is right or wrong, because they have sent this email saying to change your name, and the project is going to change their name. But if they didn't, then the next logical course of action is for Nokia to send another letter. If they don't respond, eventually take them to court. And here's the thing. Unless this maintainer is secretly rich, they don't have the money to fight Nokia in court. Even if Nokia is a dwindling company, it's still a pretty big company that has a lot more money than some random individual. And Nokia's legal team is fully aware this project basically has to comply. I don't like that it's like this, but that's the way the world is. It is what it is. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think Nokia was in the right to protect their trademark, or do you think this project should have just said, you know what, screw it, we're going to keep the name and just see what happens? I would love to know. So if you like this video, I'm going to go and like the video. If you really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, go check out my Patreon, subscribe to the Robertson link in the description down below. I've got a podcast called Tech Over Tea. I've got a gaming channel called Brodie Robertson Plays. That's going to be it for me, and I'm out.